I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got drunk, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube. Obviously, podcast from iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. Obviously, I am Matt, the hipster hunter. We're going to talk all things boxing today. And we are one man down today. Fugatti is out with his dad, who just had a successful surgery. So shout out to Fugatti and his dad. Prayers, good vibes, best wishes, all that stuff to Fugatti and his family. If you're out there listening, you want to send your love and support, go add him on Twitter at FugattiMCR. And show some love, man, because, you know, father going through surgery and having successful surgery, that's always a big deal. Salute. But anyways, back to boxing. We are joined, of course, by the illustrious Han Solo of the group, Mr. Robbie Hearns, second cousin twice removed. And yes, I said Han Solo, and we might veer off course and go to some trending now topics later on the show and talk about that amazing Star Wars trailer. God. Palpy's back, guys. Palpy's back. I'm so excited.
Hallelujah! 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 Hallelujah!
Thank you, gods. But anyways, let's get to the news of the day. Rob, how are you doing today over there in the UK? It's nighttime over there. How you doing?
I'm very good. It's been a blast last few hours. Just like you say, Voltron formed.
Yo,
just had some.
I gotta say this, okay, very quickly. PSA for anyone out there listening: if you think you're gonna come at one of us on social media, oh my God, get ready for an entire group to just clown you for days. It's if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look at any of our social media accounts in the last few days. Matt Hunter MCR, UK Rob MCR, and just enjoy yourselves. It's been fun. But yes, last few hours have been fun too. And also, I've watched the Star Wars trailer at least a dozen times. So,
epic.
Epic. So it's been a good day so far already.
It has. But yeah, a few topics to obviously talk about. Bob Arum saying he's going to contact Al Haymon the second Crawford Khan fight's over.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
Yeah, I was going to counter that way, but no, we don't believe you. Yeah, what else we got? Dillian Whyte waiting on WBC ruling, but there's 5 potential opponents. We've got what else? Oh, Tank Davis.
I feel discouraged.
Tank Davis as well for opponent for his hometown fight. Someone in his weight class.
Say what?
I know, right? Unbelievable. And yeah, just a few other bits and pieces, you know, Glovegate, Lomachenko, Crawler, a few other little snippets. But yeah, let's get into it and yeah, chop it up.
Let's
steal another one of your little catchphrases. Let's chop it up.
Yeah, because obviously I have a trademark on all these catchphrases.
Yeah, anyway.
And these words in the English language. But anyways, digressing. Let's get to the Arum news in particular. The Arum call to Haymon, or at least him saying after Crawford is successful, he's going to call Al Haymon and, quote, set up the Earl Spence fight. Obviously, I mean, I don't believe it. on its surface. I'm not even gonna dignify with reading Arum's quotes because it's Arum, man. Like I feel like his shtick is old, and while it is funny at times, it is a old shtick, and it's just sometimes it's very obvious for those that know the game. I feel like me, you, Rob, you and I, and those listening, because those listening are probably hardcores, we know that this is promoter talk. And I also want to say it's very indicative that, and we've said this before, you've said this about Wilder Joshua, that at certain times the B side is always the one sort of making the most noise. Sort of saying that they want to fight the most, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like this is sort of that. We now have in some, I would say some certain fashion, a firm understanding of the A and B side of this matchup. Earl Spence with his pay-per-view numbers coming in at 400,000 obviously show that he is an A side compared to Crawford. Now, maybe Crawford Khan numbers blow that out of the water or do comparable to that, but Rob, I don't think that, you don't think that probably, I'm assuming, maybe you think otherwise, but unless that is different, we know the A side and B side, and I think it's obvious that Arum knows that, and him coming around the media saying that he is going to be making the call to Arum, that he is now sort of, I think, framing the media talking points, the media discussion and discourse of Haymon and Crawford are the ones trying to make the fight, to make it seem like they actually want it. When maybe they do want it, maybe they don't. I don't know, but I'm definitely not going to believe Arum's words on this occasion because Arum is a promoter, and he's probably the biggest epitome of what a promoter is, the best and the worst of them. So I don't believe it. Rob, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree. I think also bear in mind next weekend is Crawford Khan, and what better way to get some buzz around this fight than bring up Errol Spence's name. Absolutely. And the whole idea of crossing the street and making this big fight and unifying some welterweight titles. So bring up the guy on the other side of the street. We're going to do this. We're going to do that after this fight, which, by the way, April 20th on ESPN.
Also want to add, bring up the bigger guy too, to sort of connect it to my point about A side and B side. It's the bigger guy, and that is important here.
Yeah, if he'd have said, straight after this fight, we're going to ring Danny Garcia, all right, whatever. But Errol Spence obviously is the one everyone's talking about, the one that off the back of beating the lightweight has jumped right up the pound for pound rankings. Well, not my rankings, which are still winning on the YouTube community page, but yeah, I'm messing. But yeah,
which reminds me, I do need to get my butt in order and make that top 10 collective MCR pound for pound list. I think I could do that and put it out by tomorrow. I'm not going to say for certain, for sure by Sunday that should be out. I will promise that.
Depends how well Twitter's going.
Yes, absolutely, and yeah.
And Anthony's holding it down. Don't worry. He's good right now.
Is he? I don't Twitter open. I hope so.
But yeah, so we should
by the way, quickly, I did see Anthony in the chat. Walkout Network. Go subscribe to them or him. That's Anthony Walker from Share Dog. That's his own personal channel he started. We won't do any UFC coverage tomorrow or any boxing coverage. Anthony will at least do some UFC coverage on his channel. I will, of course, put his video in our playlist called Affiliates and Friends of the Show. So if you want to find his content, it's right there on our main YouTube page and also our featured channel section. Go check out Anthony's work. Obviously, Walkout Network, ShareDog.com, and MMA On Point. I believe he's also working there. So shout out to Anthony. Back to you.
Yeah, I totally forgot what I was saying, but yeah, I think I'll believe it when I see it. Let's just say that, like you said, Bob. I mean, you talked about his old shtick, but pause. But no, but he's very old school, very you
child.
Yeah, I've been in Twitter mode. I'm in that frame of mind. No, he sort of says these things, and it's like pinch of salt. It's Al Haymon doesn't exist. What was it about this fight? Oh, this fight's been shoved up our ass. Like, we don't want it. So, but please buy tickets for it. It's just Bob being Bob, I think. And again, I'll believe it when I see it. And there's a boxing scene article saying talks are ongoing or happening, or we're close, or we're nearing completion for that. But not in 2019, for sure.
Yeah, I think this just feels like a setup year. There's certain years that feel like it's a big year for a culmination of events, a culmination of fights to bring about big matchups. This doesn't seem like that year. It seems like a year that's obviously a setup year for other fights to happen, to set up maybe last quarter of this year, or most likely first and second quarter of next year, which seems the obvious, I think, sort of plan. Even like Canelo Triple G, I think, might be pushed back for next year. I think there's a possibility of that. We don't need to go into my theory about that, but I think that we are less likely to get the big fights that we want, and even like the lesser big fights, like a Canelo Triple G 3, which us hardcores are sort of burnt out on, but it's still a big fight. I don't think we're going to get that this year. I think we're going to get the best we're going to get is maybe a like Spence Porter, Spence Thurman, a Spence Pacquiao. Like, that's probably going to be the biggest fight of the year, in my opinion. Most likely.
Yeah, I mean, you say Canelo, Golovkin. I believe Canelo recently said if he's got a bout, basically. So
that was Canelo, I think, adding a little bit of distance to the Triple G matchup, in my opinion.
It was almost like, you're kind of irrelevant now. I've beat you, be it controversially or not. It's in box rec as a win. I've done you, but if you've got a bout, he sort of basically was saying, I'm about titles now. I just want the titles. So if you've got a bout, why not? We can do it again. But I don't think he's in his immediate plans. Although I guess DAZN have purchased Triple G's services for putting him in there with Canelo. So they will push for that fight regardless, I think, whether there's a bout or not. So
absolutely agree.
Some kind of pressure from DAZN. Look, we signed you. We signed Canelo for big fights. We've got this deal with you. And that big number that you're supposedly getting does, I think, depend on certain things. So I'm sure that fight will be pushed for. But like you say, whether it's this September, I'm sort of doubtful.
I think it's far more likely that we see a Canelo September fight where he moves back up to 168 and fights a David Lemieux in that weight class, and we see Triple G fight Andrade later this year. I think that is probably the most likely thing. A couple things to make me think that. Canelo's statement, like you added earlier, me saying that Triple G needs a belt for me to be interested. That was really indicative of, I think, Canelo's headspace for that Triple G rematch or trilogy fight. On top of that, the Triple G timetable, like, he's fighting in June. So fighting in September, yes, you can obviously do it. You have enough of a window for a training camp. You have, 8 to 12 weeks after that fight, you do. But that is still a quick turnaround from a tune-up, which is probably going to be Steven Rolls or somebody else, Asane Dom, hopefully, to a Canelo fight, which we know has probably taken a lot out of Triple G in the past couple fights. So, again, I think we see a September David Lemieux fight and a late fall Triple G Andrade fight. That's what I see. And then a May Canelo Triple G trilogy fight on Cinco de Mayo, which is the bigger date than September, in my opinion, also. And, is it the first quarter of the year, technically? No, I think it's the second quarter of the year. But regardless, I think the investors, the board members of DAZN are going to be happy with 2020's numbers, because I think they assume 2019 is going to be a loss already, and they're okay with that in some fashion.
Yeah, I think, they've obviously put out a lot of money back end of last year and the beginning of this year. And if it's kind of a setup year for 2020 and really come into 2020, swinging, I mean, they already kind of have, but it's a big kind of financial loss, I guess. So 2020 is maybe the year that, things that are sort of being put into place right now. I think we got more chance of seeing Triple G and Andrade before we see Triple G and Canelo. And then that would be, if Triple G was to win, then obviously he's got a bout. But yeah, DAZN, they've put a lot of money into it this year and like the back end of last year. And I think we'll be looking for a kind of a monster year in 2020 if the Joshua fight can somehow be made. But like we said, that's maybe looking like it'll be the only way it will be is like a Showtime thing. And whether they figure something out as sharing it, then great. But yeah, I mean, I think they're doing all right. It's just I think May the 4th on the Star Wars theme there is a big date on their calendar. Canelo Jacobs, that's a real one that they're hoping is going to do some significant subscribers and sort of views. Not that I don't think views necessarily bothers them that much. It's all about subscribers getting on board and paying for it.
Yep.
But yeah. To wrap it up, I guess, on this, Bob Arum is
high and talking out of his ass.
Eloquently put.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
That's why you are the big bad media member.
That's right. You get it straight, man. Watch out there. Might be at the Loma fight tonight. You never know. Okay.
I thought I saw you were there.
You know what? I was there earlier because they let us in for like one fight, even though the doors don't open until like maybe a couple hours from now. I just wanted to snap a quick picture and then head out. That's all.
I mean, I said about doing a show, and you're like, all right, I'll come back.
See, as a big bad media member, I can just walk in and out of a venue whenever I want. You don't
just flash the sheriff's badge.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Little tiny, Twitter accounts may not know that. It's okay. Go get known. Go get your profile up. Let's move on. But still on Crawford. It's not a big topic we need to discuss at length, but the Crawford pay-per-view cost has come out at $70 for HD. The funny part was that they were talking up like it was gonna be like $50, and I knew that wasn't the case, but it was just funny that they were talking up like it was going to be, we're going to cut the price a lot. It's $5, dog. Like, what are you doing here?
That's basically, don't worry about this month's ESPN Plus subscription. We'll take that off.
I will add something interesting I did see. I forget what article I read it on. I think it was for a Bloody Elbow, so I think it was from John Nash. I could be wrong about that. But it was about Bob basically using what the UFC did and taking their pay-per-views off linear TV and putting them on ESPN Plus exclusively as a strong arm to the pay-per-view distributors on TV. So now apparently Bob Arum is going to get a massive cut, or I should say more Top Rank / ESPN is going to get a massive cut of this pay-per-view compared to normal, because of that move from the UFC to ESPN Plus exclusively. So even though this pay-per-view is going to bomb, they're going to probably even out regardless and make money because now their percentage is so much higher from their distributors. So even when they have a fight card we know is going to bomb and is going to hopefully show the networks that the marketplace is not accepting of this, they're still going to make money. They still figured out a way to game the system. So it's just crazy. It's the same way with how the UFC now can put on whatever they want on pay-per-view, and it's on ESPN Plus, and they're going to make money no matter what because they're going to get a guarantee bag of money from ESPN for all those pay-per-views. And just like now, Top Rank is going to get a larger cut of the pay-per-view than usual because of that move. So everyone out there, you can obviously boycott this, but they're still going to make money. Sucks. Rob, any thoughts on the pay-per-view price and the Bob Arum and Top Rank getting a bigger cut of the pay-per-view going forward?
I mean, it's cheaper, but it's one of those where you go, yeah, all right.
That's like when Steven Espinosa said, it's not $75 for the standard definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're technically right. You are.
Yeah, you're right, Stephen. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's not, not affecting me in any way. But yeah, feel for you guys. I felt this was going to come in, and ESPN are going to make a real sort of almost statement and say, look, there you go, $50 or like 60 even would be like, well, fucking hell, nearly, $15, $20 off. Nice. Almost like a quarter off or something like, wow.
For example, here, ladies and gentlemen, we have a UFC pay-per-view, like I said, on ESPN Plus tomorrow. I think that is now only $60 because of the new ESPN deal, right? Because you have the subscription. They're like, hey, it's only $60. So a UFC card with A, more fights on it, and B, better fights on it, top down, is $10 less than Crawford Khan. Just put that in perspective, guys. Come on. We're getting ripped off. Bigly.
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of, thank God Wilder Brazil didn't get made on, pay-per-view, because they've been pretty relentless over there for you guys this year. I think you've had a month off paying for anything. It's been crazy. But, yeah, I think it was it. Obviously, Wilder Fury in December. January, you had Pac Broner. I think February didn't have one. March was Spence Garcia. April, Crawford Khan. May, no, thank God. I think you're all right.
And that's not including all the UFC pay-per-views I've also had to buy. Again, one a month.
Just pick boxing, man. Nah. But yeah, it's been pretty relentless over there. So shout out to you guys, poor boxing degenerates that want to watch everything. It's a pricey thing. That's why when people say, who cares about the business side? We're paying for these fucking fighters. I think that's why some people get so heavily invested in it. It's like, look, I'm paying for this shit every fucking month at the moment. Can this guy not make $50 million? Can this guy not make 10? Can he make a little bit less and make it less money to find? It's a lot of money for these fighters, and they're making the customer pay for it in every way. I've seen apparently ringside seats for Wilder Brazil at $2,500 or something like that. I know some of Joshua's are apparently like $8,000 or something, but that's a lot. The common boxing fan is not going to get the opportunity. They're going to be, in the nosebleeds more than, getting up close and really seeing a fight where they'd like to see it. It's obviously reserved for, certain people.
But
it's crazy.
I will say this. If you are a certain fan of a fighter, like Lomachenko Corolla, I think is a really good example, right? If you're a really big fan of Loma, this is the type of fight to go and check it out, because you can go get a really good seat right now for like $20-$40. Right? Like I was looking at Ticketmaster yesterday when we were talking to Tony from T Street.
When you got your ticket for tonight?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, Tony from T Street, a fucking disgrace of boxing media to tell other media to promote Lomachenko Corolla instead of criticize it. Fuck you, Tony. You're a disgrace to media. But anyways, digressing.
The thing is, Matt, we weren't criticizing it. We were just saying, according to reports, it's not selling well. We weren't even actually saying this is a shit fight and just saying tickets aren't doing well. Eddie Hearn, boxing scene article, tickets are doing poor.
Yes.
And then he was arguing that we should be promoting it. And he's like, well, shouldn't Bob be promoting it instead of saying this fight's been stuck up our ass and basically saying it's a shit fight? So,
AT, you better fix your crew, man. Real talk. If you have somebody out there saying that bullshit, I question your entire channel. Everything. Okay? Fix your shit. Anyways, instead of talking about shitty media members that literally cause boxing media to be a stain on all media. Thank you, Tony. Anyways, what was I saying? Rob, I forgot. Oh, yeah, ticket sales. Go if you have a favorite fighter and they're in a squash match, those are the fights to go see, honestly, as a live experience. Because usually the undercard's all usually squash matches, so they're all going to be fun knockouts usually. They're cheap tickets, and that's really all you want to see. You want to be entertained. To go to the big fights that are really meaningful, that have that are competitive, elite competition, are going to cost a lot. I think people just know that. Let's be honest. And also, LA sucks. I've said this time and time again. LA is a brutal city to sell tickets in. And also, think about this, Rob. We have, I think, 3 weeks in a row, 3 LA fights. We have Lomachenko-Corolla, obviously, this week. Danny Garcia-Granados next week in LA, at obviously the renamed StubHub Center. What was that?
Seems, I don't know, it just seems weird.
The location for that?
Yeah.
It does. I feel like that should be East Coast for obvious reasons. And also, the recap to that is Rungs via Estrada at the Forum. So, not only is LA a notoriously really hard market to sell a lot of tickets in, you are oversaturating that already bad market with 3 events in a row that, I mean, obviously the Rungs via Estrada fight is a fantastic fight. We all know that, guys. But let's be honest here. Rungs via Estrada aren't casual drawing names. We know that. No. That one should be at the renamed StubHub Center because it's a smaller venue than the Forum, honestly. But digressing from that, what we do have is 2 diluted fight cards, I would say, in Lomachenko-Corolla, Garcia-Granados. So the Garcia-Granados one isn't as bad, and that fight isn't as bad as I would argue Lomachenko is. But they're still not the best fights. And they are taken away from a Rungs via Estrada fight, and they're all taken away from each other in a bad market. Moral of the story is Lomachenko-Corolla is not selling well. And to state that is just a fact and the truth. And to be upset about that shows your bias and agenda, Tony from T Street. Piece of shit.
Yeah, look, he wanted me to physically count how many tickets were left. I mean, I'm not gonna. I said people from the area. I think you and when Santiago called in the other night, he was like, yeah, trying to drive down Friday night to Staples Center, not good. It's not pleasant.
Santiago lives pretty close to downtown. I would say, without traffic, a 5-10 minute drive right from downtown. So he lives pretty close, right? But in traffic, that's a 30-minute drive for him, and he's close. So he would have to take public transportation. For me, I live all the way out in South LA County, so Long Beach area. So I'm gonna have to drive an hour and a half to get there in traffic. 2 hours maybe at middle of rush hour for a Lomachenko-Corolla fight, and that's not really what I care for, to be honest.
Pick your poison. I mean, it's if you like the fight, that kind of thing, and you would make that travel if you were up for it. But if you're not, that is one of the reasons you'd be like, it's kind of 2 hours in the car as well, plus the $200 or the $80 ticket, or nah, I'll leave this one. And I know we heard it all through because there was Wilder Fury didn't. It was spun that it sold out, but it didn't. But
Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter. Just want to add that one to the list.
Yeah, I mean, I know. All I heard at that point was there'll be a lot of walk-ups on the night and things like that, which is fine. I don't know, but I think Eddie Hearn's point was kind of it's not doing well. The tickets aren't great because we're over here. We're more used to Matchroom will put out a show. and it will be to the Fight Pass members first. Like, so you sign up, you can pay, I think it's £35 a year, and you get the first day's sale just open to Fight Pass members, so they get first dibs on the tickets. Then it's general release the next day, and generally people are like, shit, tickets are on sale, quick, get one. Whereas in America, I notice people are like, I'll wait, I'll keep waiting, I'll get one, I'll get a good deal late on. And I guess
that's exactly the thought, though, is that, like, Jose from Canada, shout out to Jose from Canada, right?
He bought a fight without a ticket. Yeah, whereas I would never do that.
Yeah, he literally would walk towards a fight without a ticket and it'd be like, I'll find a ticket. And he does. Yeah. And he finds them for super cheap every time. Also, JP from Long Beach, good friend, he did that. He does that constantly. I think he did that for Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, the first one. He went up, like, as the fights are starting, doors are opening, got a ticket, like, for $100 and sat next to... was like Hank Lundy or somebody, like, ended up saying, like, a good seat next to, like, Hank Lundy, and was able to talk about the fight the whole time with Hank Lundy. So, it is different in the U.S. It is. Walk-ups are a thing. However, everybody on the ground in Top Rank and Matchroom is saying it's not selling well. And that's just a fact. It's okay.
Yeah. And what is it, Staples? Like, it's 20,000?
20 plus.
Yeah. So, I mean... what's going to be a good number for that fight? I don't know, like 15. If it does 15,000, would that be good?
Yes.
Would that be deemed a success? So I don't know. And is that a near sellout? I don't know. But anyway, while we're on this fight, Joe Gallagher, I think, throwing in some old school mind games / just try to upset the apple cart a little bit. Suggested that Lomachenko's gloves were light, and he wanted them reweighing and
skipping ahead to topics, as I see. Okay.
I just thought as we were on the fight, it was a good
That's
segue.
True. That's true. It is. That is. You go to the topic. You talk about it. I didn't read up on it as much as you did. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe Gallagher even tweeted. I think it was about it was maybe an hour ago, and that was saying it was 4 hours ago. But there was a photograph of Loma's gloves. And he said weigh-in day today, and it was a photograph of Loma's gloves. But he suggested that Loma's gloves felt light, and they weren't 8-ounce gloves or whatever. So it was, I'm sure, even if they were, it would be like fucking milligrams out or whatever. But Lomachenko's rival gloves needed to be double checked, and Gallagher was invited to be witness to that weigh-in, and usual stuff, usual mind games, silly little
last bit of promotion.
Yeah, maybe
that's what I think it is. Mind games too, obviously, but I think it's probably more so last bit of promotion because tickets aren't.
Like you say, it made you go check Ticketmaster.
Let's stay on Top Rank though. I think for the last sort of Top Rank topic, Bob Arum going with on Michael Wood's show and talking about Tyson Fury becoming a household name. And I just find it so laughable that he's on like a media tour and saying that he's going to do all these things with Tyson Fury when it's so obvious that it's not going to happen the way I think he wishes it to happen. And I know he's a promoter, like he has to say those things. But again, sort of like the Spence Crawford thing, maybe it's just because we know Bob Arum for so long now that it's just so apparent when he's on his promoter bullshit. But they're trying to make Tyson Fury a household name, like I started tuning out. Like I tried listening to it for a bit, and I just tuned out.
He said America's gonna fall in love with him once they see him. But the thing is, look, this is the sport we love, the people in the chat love. But let's be honest, who in our sport currently is a household name in America? Really? You just brought up Spence Crawford. Are they household names in America? No. I think the last one people would mention would be Floyd Mayweather. That's the latest one I would think they would probably come up with. if you asked
Canelo's close.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And obviously, like, it's a little bit geographical and plays a part into like demographics because like if you're out in Montana, is Canelo a household name over there? I don't know, but in the Southwest, yeah, he is. I would assume also on the East Coast, in most populated cities, Canelo is sort of like a well-known sporting figure. I would put Mayweather, Pacquiao, and Canelo on that list of household names in boxing in the U.S., and that's it. It's probably those three guys in terms of quote active boxers.
Yeah. I just struggle to think of someone that if you've done I know it's a mega difficult thing to try and assume this maybe because I obviously don't know, but my assumption is that if you could do like a poll across all the households in America, that boxing isn't on the agenda of a massive percentage of those people, and to name a household name, a boxer that's famous to them, like I say, would it be a Canelo? Would it be? I don't think it would. I think it would be.
Of course, Floyd's on the top. I'm not saying that Canelo is equal to Floyd.
I'm just saying Canelo's active. He's a big star as far as we're concerned. Boxing fans, hardcores or whatever. But your general American, Floyd, I think, would come out of their mouth before.
Of course, that's not what I was saying with Canelo. So, that's not.
Again, I'm just saying, as an assumption across the whole of America, if you've done like a whole, what boxers do you know? I just really do. I just think there wouldn't be any current active ones that they would name.
Well, it depends how you obviously ask the question. Is name the most famous boxer? Ali is going to be mentioned more than anyone.
Well, yeah,
right?
All right.
Because it'd be like name a basketball player, Michael Jordan. Like it's pretty easy to name the best, right?
Yeah. But I mean, all right. If you said to your average American, name the most famous active boxer right now, I bet they still say Floyd Mayweather
because he's active. He had a fight 3 months ago. He got paid $8 million for it.
The fact you just called that a fight, Matt, I have to question.
Okay, right. Look. Okay, it's a fight in maybe a loose sense.
America didn't say.
No, but they definitely knew about. They may not have seen it. No, they definitely saw it. It was social. That fight was so quick, Rob. Come on, that was on social media. That was went viral. Right? Come on, that was on. It was on IG. It was on Twitter. It was everywhere. I think all of America saw that fight. Air quotes fight, if you want to throw in air quotes. But the guy got paid $8 million for that, whatever that was. But
would they say, "Oh yeah, what's that guy? Oh, Floyd Mayweather. Didn't he fight some like tiny little Japanese blonde dude?"
Well, no, I don't think that would be the first thing they think of. But I guarantee you, out of that amount of people that talk about it, there's gonna be some people that talk about that fight. Like, yeah, he fought that little Japanese guy a couple months ago. I guarantee you will have people joking about that. 100%. Why? Because I heard a litany of podcasts that have nothing to do with sports talk about that and phrased it in that way. So
it was an IG fight, I guess.
Yes, this is a rabbit hole, but I do think Mayweather. Well, I do think Mayweather is an active boxer in a sense. I think that we need to come to grips with that sometime. Like he is still being mentioned with Pacquiao a lot, guys. Like he could still come out of retirement and fight a Mikey Garcia. I could see that even. Hell, I mean, think about it. There's a lot that Mayweather could do to make some money still and fight names that would still get casuals to care about. But Canelo's, I would argue, it might be number 2 on that list of household names now, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of households, according to Tyson.
That is true.
300 million.
A lot of households, but
yeah, basically, I was just saying, I think we're so niche that Americans don't really.
We're in sport, yeah. It's okay.
Yeah,
that happens. Yeah. We're better than NASCAR, so that's all that matters. Let's talk about your countryman over there in the UK, Mr. Dillian Whyte. saying that he has a 5-man short list, that he does not mention the 5 people. We've obviously heard for some time that like Povetkin and Ortiz have been mentioned with Whyte by Eddie Hearn for literally years now, probably. And I don't think those fights are particularly next, even though they would make the most sense in the world, especially the Ortiz one. Povetkin, not so much for me. But the Ortiz one makes the most sense in the world right now with the way everyone's lined up. Dillian Whyte Ortiz fight might steal everyone's thunder, but I don't think that's possible. So, Rob, if you can, throw out some names that could be on this list that are realistic for that July date. I forget the exact date they were talking about, like July 19th, 13th?
I think it's July 13th, yeah.
Anyways, some names that Dillian Whyte could be fighting on that July card that are realistic. Maybe you do think Ortiz and Povetkin are realistic. If so, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I think they would, because I think we may still end up with a Povetkin fight. He pulled out of the Usyk fight. Mm-hmm. No, I think, and I also believe if it's not Ortiz or Povetkin, Sky won't run this as a pay-per-view. They've done pay-per-view with Whyte for the last, 3-4 fights of his, something like that. And outside of Povetkin and Ortiz, I don't know that they can muster up a pay-per-view for him this time, but I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm just going to quickly look at BoxRec just for the names. We know Joshua's busy, Wilder's busy, Fury, he's got his date, Povetkin is available, Miller, busy, Ortiz is available, Pulev's just fought, Joseph Parker.
Pulev's an option. That might be an option.
In July, he's just fought.
That's plenty of time.
I suppose, yeah. Although didn't he have that nasty cut? I don't know.
Maybe. It's an option. I think it could be an option.
Hrgovic, I don't think they'll put him in there just yet. Matchroom just signed him and want to build him up. He's only had a few fights.
Yeah, he's going to fight Dave Allen probably soon more than Dillian Whyte.
Very quick on Dave Allen. There was a report. Daniel Dubois says he's open to the either Chisora or Dave Allen next or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Dave Allen put, "Leave me alone. I'm scared of you."
That's funny.
Quite tweeted it. It's quite good. Yeah, I mean, what else have we got really? There's Oscar Rivas.
Ooh, Jay Willet's bringing up a good one that is also signed to Matchroom, I believe. Gassiev, who just moved up recently.
Nah, I can't see that. And on that, very quickly, why has Gassiev decided to move up when Usyk is now moved up? Why isn't he not? What is he, 24, 25 years old? Why does he stick around and pick up some of these vacant cruiserweight belts? You know, I don't know. It seems a little
premature.
What's he going to do? Huh?
Do you think it's premature?
Yeah. What's he going to do? Sit around and wait for a Joshua or Wilder fight? What?
Well, a couple points. Obviously, it's way more money at heavyweight. Far more money at heavyweight. Even in like the bottom half of the top 10, top 15 names, there's money at heavyweight. Hell, there's money with some prospects like fucking Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. There's money at heavyweight for a guy like Gassiev. I would argue more so than cruiserweight. Also, I think legacy-wise, picking up the remnants and the scraps of the cruiserweight division and reigning over that does little for Gassiev when he was thoroughly outclassed by Usyk in that manner, and then obviously Usyk moving to heavyweight immediately afterwards. I think Gassiev, if he, let's say, I'll say it, I think Gassiev would beat everyone at cruiserweight right now. And let's argue he went to the World Boxing Super Series tournament. He does that. He beats everyone. He beats Briedis. He beats all these other guys. Beats Tabiti. Then goes and beats Okoli, Lebedev, whoever he wants to beat. He beats them all. What does that do for him? He might make some decent money, some good money doing it, obviously. But legacy-wise, it doesn't do a lot for him. And it doesn't, I think, erase the Usyk loss. But I do think going to heavyweight and, let's say, beating even fringe guys of like elite competition like Povetkin, Parker, Bryant Jennings, Dillian Whyte, Miller, even beating that caliber of competition would A, produce more money for him, and I think B, erase some of that stigma from that Usyk loss. Not because he changed up his boxing style and beat better boxers, but because in our mind, it's a new division, it's a new start, it's just fresher in our mind in a way. The optics of it are different. I do see why, though, you think it's premature. I absolutely do understand your point. I think it would have been beneficial for him to get a couple wins maybe at cruiserweight and then move up with some leverage instead of coming off a loss and then moving up. But again, he's 24. He can take a little bit of a few years of a developmental period at heavyweight and be okay and be 26 and 27 and then really start attacking that top 10, top 15. So I'm not too bothered by it, but I do understand your concern by it. But I think I understand why Gassiev and his team would make that move. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so we're back to the list. Maybe Sergey Kuzmin done a little work with Matchroom. Didn't he already fight Robert Helenius? Yeah, he did, didn't he? Michael Hunter obviously just signed with Matchroom.
Yeah, he's in that sort of a Hergovich.
They want to build
it's too fresh of a signing in my mind. If you had a couple fights under Matchroom, under Matchroom's banner, then I think it would be a realistic option. But I think right away against Dillian Whyte, I feel like you're killing off a contender, or at least a future contender, in some fashion. Hunter not as much as Hergovich, because Hergovich is a blue chip prospect, but Michael Hunter, I think they have some plans for him. I think they obviously want a Usyk rematch for him for some reason.
Yeah, sure.
So I think they're more in a planned out process more so than we picked up these guys to be B-sides to Dillian Whyte. I don't see them as those signings, those types of signings.
Yeah, so
it's gonna be tough.
I personally think we might get Povetkin. With him having pulled out of the Usyk fight when it seemed like that was well on its way to happening, and then obviously Dillian Whyte, it didn't happen, like with Joshua and things like that. I think the brakes were pumped on the Usyk Povetkin fight. And maybe that was a little bit, Povetkin first up for Usyk. Man, that's pretty, jumping in at the deep end. Maybe, I'm sure a lot of people would have still picked Usyk in that fight. But, what about attack Takam Usyk? Take Takam. People will give you enough credit. But, Dillian Whyte could do with a Povetkin. Because Dillian Whyte, he's held this, thing of like, I'm shopping myself around. I'm a free agent. I can go anywhere. I've been doing this. I've been doing pay-per-views. I'm worth this. Joshua, that's not enough. That's a low ball offer. I'll fight anybody. I'm the can man. Anybody can get it. Blah, blah, blah. And then if he comes out and, fights a real stinker of an opponent that we're like, oh, man, you were doing so good, building yourself up, fighting everybody, knocking them out, looking great, working yourself up in all these division rankings. And then you get offered the Joshua fight and go, nah, don't want it. And then you go and fight what we will consider, B level, C level, whatever. That's going to be not a great look. And I think real bad kind of PR in a way, So yeah, I'm thinking the Povetkin, White Povetkin might come off, and we will get, I think, our first. Oh no, I don't know. No, it won't be. I was going to say first pay-per-view of the year, but obviously June is Joshua. I don't know if there's another one before that even. But anyway, yeah, I think Povetkin.
Edwards wasn't pay-per-view, right? That was. No. I can't think of anything earlier in the year that was on. There was like December pay-per-view because obviously you had the Dillian Whyte Chisora 2 fight. That's
we had that in
That's
December.
late December, so that's probably why maybe it feels recent. But
Yeah,
that's about it. Let's talk about Gervonta Davis, man. I totally forgot to like push him farther in the front of the topics. That's why he's That's why he's way the fuck back here, even though he's in the title. My apologies. But Gervonta Davis versus Yurikis Gamboa, possible for July 27th. Yes, math is hard. Rob, I'm conflicted about this because I know I shouldn't like this matchup. I know I shouldn't, but I really like this matchup. And the reason why I know I shouldn't like this matchup is for several reasons. One, I absolutely know the reason why this matchup seems so much better is because he's been fighting such subpar competition recently. So when you're fighting absolute dog shit, and then you fight like decent, like at this point in time in 2019, B- level competition in your division, it seems like such a great thing, right? So I know that is that sort of promotional matchmaking trickery is working on me. I'm absolutely aware of that. Also, I am fully aware that Gamboa is 100% past his prime. However, I am still low-key excited for this matchup. Like, if this happens, I'm okay with it. It's somebody that's technically in his weight class, a guy that's actually been above him in weight. It's a former champion, a guy that has, I'm not going to say looked decent as of late, but like his fight against Castellanos wasn't a bad fight. He still looked like he can give something to what?
He lost that fight.
I know, but I'm saying like he still looks like in terms of like being shot, being faded. Like he's not a Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios to me when like that matchup was announced. Like that was an apparent like, ooh, this is gonna be even more damaging to Brandon Rios' already fragile brain. Gamboa can still do some decent work in there, even though we know he is, what's the right wording?
37.
He is older. He is a veteran. He is sort of like the Ishe Smith now of that weight range in a way.
Wasn't the Jason Sosa fight controversial? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
People felt Sosa won it.
Yeah, there was. It was. It wasn't like it was robbery, but it was definitely controversial. It was definitely controversial. Yeah. I remember that fight. But it was also a fight that I would say, even if you pick Jason Sosa to win, you can't say that Gamboa looked shot, so to speak, right? But of course, I picked Davis to win by absolutely devastating knockout. But hey, it's a better fight, step in the right direction. I gotta applaud them in some fashion for at least doing that. If we got another fucking featherweight, I would have lost my mind, honestly. So at least we get somebody in this weight class, guys.
Just double check the article quickly, because wasn't there another one named, another opponent possibly? Just I'll have to quickly see it, but there was another name as a potential. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find it.
I'm looking at it now. I don't see it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Let me quit.
The mandatory defense, the Ricardo Nunes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously a bad mandatory, but it's still somebody in his weight class. You know, it's a Carlos Ocampo fight, in my opinion. Like, that's what that would be. Just get it over with. If you're going to do it, treat it like a Band-Aid. Get it over as fast and as quick as possible. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, I might be in the minority here, guys, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you guys calling in 323-870-4051. Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. If you think this fight's trash, if you think if you think Tank Davis is trash for taking this, you can have that opinion. I'm okay with being the minority. I think this is a decent matchup, and I'm going to use that word decent specifically. Rob, your thoughts? Tank Davis, Gamboa, buy or sell?
Well, Well, I ain't fucking buying
Well,
it.
not literally buying it.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's one of those.
It's like it's all right. It's a name.
Could be worse.
It's been worse. So you know, if this is a general sort of nod in the right direction, then yeah, fair enough. And look, it's a hometown fight. I guess we couldn't have expected, you know, a great deal from it. I mean, at 37, you know, a young, hungry Tank Davis versus a 37-year-old. As good as the 37-year-old was, and can still maybe do a little bit, but I don't think many will be picking Gamboa. So, you know, and that's credit to Tank. You know, despite what people think of him, he seems to be, you know, a legit wanna knock people out. You know, some kind of scary talent. But I know the general worry is that his talent's going to waste fighting, you know, substandard competition, and it needs to really start to step up. And let's see the star power come out of the kid. But yeah, it's all right. And like you said, if it's that mandatory, it's in a Campo style mandatory, which maybe even, you know, I believe Spence fought a Campo, the shocking mandatory, in his first hometown fight, or it was a hometown fight. And they thinking of doing the same for Tank. Is it going to end up being this other dude? Who knows? But yeah, it's all right.
It's all right.
Someone in his weight division.
Yeah, it's all right. And,
you know, I'll take that.
And
that's been the criticism. When's he going to fight someone in his weight class? Now he is. We can't really say.
We can't say. We can't use that line. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, when's he going to fight somebody good in his weight class? You know, it's like, when are we going to be happy with Tank?
And the thing is, like, Gamboa is still what, top 15 in the weight division? I would say.
I got him 12.
Yeah, like 12. That's probably what I would rank him, is like 12, 13, 14 maybe. This could be a lot worse, guys. Like, I know we want to make fun of this because it's an easy one to make fun of, but this is an all right matchup. I can think of far worse ones we've seen in just the last couple of weeks that were main events. So I'm okay with this. If this is a Showtime or Fox main event, 100% okay with this fight. And also, I mean, Gamboa in a minor way is a name. Like, he's a good B-side name. I remember when Crawford fought Gamboa, that did really good numbers at the time for HBO. And Gamboa, like on his ESPN fights, like with Castellanos and Sosa, those have done decent in viewership for being like Friday night fight cards, I believe, if my memory serves me right. So this is going to do good numbers in a sense. Like, this might do. This is going to do far better numbers than his previous fight with Ruiz. This is going to do closer to the 500,000, 600,000 mark, in my opinion, because Gamboa is known. He's a known name commodity in the boxing world, so I'm okay with it. Yep. Sue me. What else? Oh, yes. Let's talk about this. It's really funny, by the way, Rob. We're about to go to a tweet, and I can see the notifications. So it's a lot, man. Oh, my God.
Let me check.
It's almost 24 notifications from that guy.
Balls.
Poor guy. But anyways, by the way, Michael Benson, Eddie Hearn saying that he expects the WBC to imminently order Mikey Garcia versus Luke Campbell, and for Garcia to vacate the lightweight belt. Rob, I feel like this is pretty obvious. I feel like we've been calling this for some time. The only thing that is now, or there's two questions I think that are now pretty obvious from this news that is probably going to happen the next week or so. What is that vacant matchup going to be for the WBC belt? Is it going to be Luke Campbell, Teofimo Lopez? Is it going to be some other variation of a Luke Campbell matchup with somebody else? And what is next for Mikey Garcia? Obviously coming off a very devastating loss, the first loss of his career, but also a tentpole, flagpole event for PBC of the year so far, I would argue. An event that definitely, slightly burst the bubble of the boxing world and appeal to the casual market. What is next for him? I find those two questions obviously highly interesting, intriguing, and I'm also I'm not sure what the answers are for those questions. I'm not sure what is next for Mikey. I know what I would do if I'm Mikey, but I'm not sure if Mikey would do what I would do, obviously. On top of that, I think obviously the Luke Campbell Teofimo Lopez fight is the best fight to make for that vacant belt. I could still see that not happening next, just due to the rankings of the WBC right now. So, Rob, your thoughts, and obviously Eddie Hearn's thoughts about the WBC imminently ordering this matchup, and then obviously Mikey vacating the belt and then doing something else. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Obviously, like you say, Luke Campbell is definitely in the mix, whether it's to fight Mikey Garcia or to fight for the vacated belt. So, yeah, I just want to know who it's against. I know is it Akhmedov or something like in the WBC?
It's not Abedikodev or whatever. No,
I can't remember his name. Someone in the chat might beat me to it.
But, I definitely know Leonard Sterling is listening to the show like hours from now, going, "It's this guy. It's this random Eastern European you guys don't know. Come on." I'm sorry, Leonard. Sorry.
Yeah, my bad. I've even talked about it with him. But let me quickly get it. Let me see. Abdullayev. That's it. He's the number 2.
Yes.
But like 11-0 guy. Obviously, Campbell's 20. He's 20-2, but obviously big amateur pedigree. And then the one that Eddie, I think, has been working towards or trying to do figure out in the background and possibly sign the kid is Devin Haney, who's at number 3 in the rankings. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I mean, like you say, will Mikey do what I think's right? I mean, Mikey does what Mikey wants, and guessing what Mikey's going to do next is always not, it's not an easy thing to do because Mike is very much his own kind of boss, does what he wants. We know Eddie wants him to go and fight Maurice Hooker at 140 over on DAZN. Kind of, I guess, a lure to get Mikey over there. But I'd like the Haney fight, and then obviously Haney linking up with DAZN. But yeah, what's Mikey going to do? Who knows? Mikey does what Mikey wants, and I don't think many people suggested that he took on Errol Spence at 147 pounds, but he did because he wanted to.
No, I agree. I agree, Rob. I agree. I did listen to you, by the way. I did listen to you.
I know what you were doing. It's all right.
I did listen to you. I finally opened my Twitter notifications. Oh, my God. Anthony, you did hold it down for the squad, man. Oh, my God. That's so good. Anyways, do we have any callers? I don't think so.
Very quick. I want to bring up the WBC. I've made a special
we do have a caller. Okay.
We do?
Yeah, we do. But you can go. Sorry.
No, I just want to say the WBC have made a special bout for the Shields and Hammer. By the way, they made weight, but it's pink and gold.
I wanted to say this on Twitter, but I saved it for the show because I feel like it's better said than like typed. It is. It's pretty downright. Obviously sexist of the WBC to do that, in my opinion, when they have been in connection with the obvious archaic entrenched mentality of 10-round, 2-minute fights for women's title fights. And they have said numerous times we will not change that recently. And then
with a pretty pink belt.
And then they have this big women's super fight. And here's your pretty pink belt, ladies. I feel like it is so disrespectful of the WBC. And the funny part is that they're out there in that boardroom when they thought of that idea, thinking they were doing the right thing.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like the Pepsi commercial all over again. It's like, nope, guys, this isn't it. There needs to be somebody in that room to say, hey, let's just not do this. Let's treat these women like every other male fight because we don't treat them like men at all in the rest of the sport.
What is the perceived belt in boxing that apparently every boxer wants to hold? The green and gold belt, the world famous WBC green and gold belt. And what have they gone and done? Made it out of pink leather. I mean, just a little thing. I don't know whether he's got commitments elsewhere or there's something else happening somewhere or whatever. But, they didn't even have Jimmy Lennon Jr. at the weigh-in. And this is like they're saying this big, but it's like it's not getting the big fight treatment, if you know what I mean. No. I know that's maybe picking at things a little, but I just feel like a lot of matchroom fighters like, we get introduced by Michael Buffer, or it's like just little things along the way, but it's a women's fight, roll out the second tier.
I did notice.
I don't know what this Jimmy Lennon Jr., whether he might be sick, he might be doing something, he might be in another country or whatever. But I
will say this. I will add to your point. No disrespect to Brian Campbell. Brian knows that I love his work. I think he's a fantastic journalist and media member. I think he's actually probably one of my favorites. Zulu saying, is Blog Talk working? Try calling in. I saw your number, Zulu. If you can't hear us on Blog Talk, then I guess Blog Talk isn't working again. I think Blog Talk's been having some issues lately. Skype, Zulu, Mixed Combat Radio. Add us on Skype, and I will call in that way. Just download the app on your phone. Super easy. It's all free. Very simple. And I understand if you can't do that for this show, you want to do it for the next show, do that, but that's always the backup. Skype is always working. Skype is a bigger company than Blog Talks. Think about it that way. So that's always a backup, Zulu and other U.S. callers, Canadian callers, domestic callers. But back to the points you were saying, Rob. No disrespect to Brian Campbell and whoever else was on that desk, I forget. But even their weigh-in presentation team to talk about the fights were the B team, in a sense. And I mean the B team. It wasn't even the Showbox team. It was the new team. It was Brian Campbell and other people I really didn't know, or at least I can't remember. I'll be honest. And I wonder if we're just seeing a turnover, because even Jimmy Lennon, we know, is signed to some deal with World Boxing Super Series, right, Rob?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
We don't know how exclusive that is. Paulie is out there doing bare knuckle fighting. I wouldn't be surprised if Showtime was like, hey, let's just bring in some new blood here. And that goes for up and down the card with announcers, MCs, commentators, because we are seeing more of that on Showtime. We are seeing less and less of the Al Bernstein, the Paulie Malignaggi's, the Marwanalos of the world, I would say, at Showtime events on Showtime cards. Yes, for the very big ones, you're going to get those guys, but those guys cost a lot of money to get. I think that's probably another reason why, to be honest.
Yeah. I just sort of was looking at it, and then, like I say, a little bit afterwards, I saw the WBC bout, and I was just like, saying what a huge fight this is for women boxing, which it is. I'm not hating on it. I just felt, yeah, but where's Jimmy Lennon? Oh, they've got a pink belt for the lady. I don't know. I just feel like it's getting some kind of disservice along the way whilst being promoted as this big event. It's kind of like you're not backing up what you're saying with shit that's happening. I don't know. It's just my personal thing. Maybe I'm well off and there's reasons behind certain things, but it just felt like if you want to do right by this massive fight for women's boxing, then do right by it. Give it the treatment.
By the way, Jay Willis in the chat making the best joke possible. Isn't Diamante in World Boxing Super Series? And then right after that, Diamante. That was good. I like that.
We did a typo in the first one, to be fair, but it does work as a joke.
It absolutely works in a joke. And we know that typos aren't... People can still make funny remarks with typos. We know that on Twitter, Rob. Come on.
You're right. I mean, you are right.
You are making so much sense, Rob. Let's be honest. But anyways... if we don't have any callers, that's it for the show. That's it for the show.
Yeah, haha, I didn't even mean that. I was correcting my spelling. Yeah, but I'll take the credit though. Fair enough. I would.
I would definitely take that as well.
Despite the fouler hate you've been fucking throwing my way, I got you. I pointed it out, but said it was a joke.
Anyways, we'll be back tonight. Don't worry about it for a live fight chat. Rob won't be with us, but don't worry. Fu will be here with me. What, Rob?
I'll try.
You will try, but
yeah, I will.
There's no problem. You won't. I just know you.
But yeah, Fu's going to be there, so you'll hear those dulcet tones over the airwaves.
It's going to be okay, guys. So anyways, we'll be back later tonight. Don't worry about it for the live fight chat. Lomachenko, Corolla. No content tomorrow, or at least no live fight chats tomorrow. Might put out that top 10 pound for pound combined list from all of the panelists here on MCR. That should, I think, draw some debate and criticism, because I won't give any spoilers, but we did the tally. We did calculate our combined lists, guys, and there are some interesting inclusions and some non-inclusions on that list, and I think some section of our fan base will be absolutely loving the list, and some will absolutely hate it. But anyways, I am Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find me, Matt Hunter MCR, all platforms on social media. Have a great day. Rob?
Yeah, UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, always worth a follow, especially lately. Been going down with certain, people coming at Matt, or I literally commented on a post that was Bob Arum saying Eddie Hearn don't know dick about promoting in the US, and it is massively spiraled and spiraled and spiraled.
It's still here. It's still going on, man. Ron, good old Ron from TBV. He even commented finally. It was like, yo, the amount of the Energizer Bunny with that GIF, and it was just
sponsored by Energizer. This thread sponsored by Energizer. But yeah, obviously from the UK out to my fellow countrymen out in LA. Good luck to Anthony Crolla. We know you're going to give it your everything. Will it be good enough? Most people are saying not, but do yourself proud, and you've done a hell of a lot for UK boxing, and you've been a great servant. I sound like I'm reading his obituary.
Yes, it sounds like it, man. It's so bad.
I don't mean it to be like that.
It sounded so sad, man. I just want to put that out. I was going to switch with the music before you realized that I was going to start playing sad music, but you're like, oh shit, wait, I'm reading his fucking eulogy. Oh my god. I'm like, yep. Yes.
But when Crolla sinks in one of those body shots, and he does the unthinkable, it's going to be so good. But yeah, I did realize as I was saying all that shit, it sounded like he died already. But yeah, obviously good luck to Crolla and the team out there. What else? Yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat as always. Hit the thumbs up, share the show, tell a friend, all that good stuff. patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Go support the show. I guess Matt and Fu will do the trending now and pick up on the Star Wars trailer. Maybe I'll jump on that one for Patreon.
We can definitely do that maybe tomorrow, like early in the day. We can definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working, but I'm back sort of usual time.
That's right. But yeah, for me,
if it's early, I can jump on the hangout through my phone and still be on the line. Whatever.
Depends on Fu's schedule, but we'll figure that out. We might get some Patreon content for you, lovely Patreon members, tomorrow or Sunday. But don't worry, you guys will get some content this weekend. Make sure of it.
Yeah, for sure. But your support is greatly appreciated. Whether you can donate via Patreon, hopefully YouTube, listening, watching, approving, going through, manually checking the channel. We hit all the landmarks for monetization, but damn, that process is long. So you guys want to put the pressure on. #monetize MCR. Yeah, at Team YouTube Help or at Team YouTube or something. Yep. Get the pressure on, and hopefully Matt gets his credentials for Rang Vizai and Estrada 2. Although basically in this show he nearly gave his entire address out, so it doesn't matter whether he goes to the fights or not. Someone might find him. But yeah,
you know, my stalker, man. I can't wait till one of you guys get a stalker. You know, and it's not just me.
Jay Willett, I'm looking at you. Just stay away from that with that Fitzgerald shit. Just messing.
Yeah, that's crossing a line, Willits.
Yeah, don't come at me. Because I've got nothing to come back with. It was done and dusted. But yeah, till the next one, people. Thanks very much. Catch you later.
Peace.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Stay off the weed.
OMG, I am so excited.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?